Okay, so hello everyone. I am Vahe. My team members are Lilith and Ani. All of us are students of American University of Armenia. Today we are going to discuss and investigate a really interesting case regarding family trust. We are going to find out what kind of challenges and difficulties can appear among the members in the family and try to give some suggestions how to overcome and solve that. So let's go ahead. Our hero's name is James. He's dealing with a lot of drama in his family. He's 29 years old. So a picture situation like this. The family is dealing with a lot of drama. The James' mom is pulling some emotional tricks to gain more money from James and more emotional support that she needs. And this is creating some kind of weird situation inside the family, and members are unsure whom to trust. Then there is also the older sibling who is also aiming to gain as much money from James as possible, and he even made some fake suicidal actions just to gain more attention from James and more money. So this is even making the situation worse. The younger sibling was also pulled into the mess, and she's trying just to keep the place in her family. What is regarding the father, the exact time when James needed his father the most, when James needed his father to give some kind of advice, a suggestion how to overcome and to solve this situation, he was just not around. But in all this mess and in this bad situation, there was just one light, which was his spouse. His spouse is always next to him. His spouse is always guiding and supporting him when he needs that. So now we are going to go deeper into this situation to find out what kind of problems can occur inside the family, how culture, emotion, and rules inside the family can affect behavior of family members. So Lilith will continue me and go even deeper.
Okay, so I'll begin talking about the enablers. So we are dealing with manipulator, abusers, and James is here codependent on his family members. So several family members seem to be manipulating James for various reasons, such as emotional support, financial assistance, or to fulfill their own agendas. And we can see the father seems to be also abusive, and he was abusive in the past, and there are hints of emotional manipulation from other family members. And James is co-dependent in this relationship because he's struggling with all this manipulation and abuse. Um, okay, so now let's understand the diagnosis of the trust problem. They represent the trust problems within familiar relationships or any other social context, involves recognizing patterns or of behavior that indicate lack of trust or betrayal. So first of all, we are dealing with consistent betrayal. If there's a pattern of individuals consistently betraying each other's trust, whether it's through lying, manipulation, or secrecy, it indicates a deeper issue with trust within the relationship. The next thing we're dealing with is inconsistent communication between the family members. Trust problems often stem from poor communication or a lack of openness. And if individuals within relationships struggle to communicate honestly and openly with each other, it can lead to misunderstandings and feelings of mistrust, which we can see in our case. Next one is really important, which is the boundary violation. When individuals consistently disregard each other's boundaries or fail to respect each other's autonomy, it can erode trust over time. This can include intrusive behavior, controlling tendencies, crossing personal boundaries without consent. Next one is post-trauma or betrayal. Trust issues can also stem from past experiences of trauma or betrayal, which is evident in the family as well, either within the current relationship or from previous relationships. Individuals may struggle to trust others due to fear of being hurt again, or because they haven't really healed from past wounds. And when we looked at other comments, we saw that the hero, the protagonist of the case, James, has begun to avoid his family members because of this situation, which is also not a solution. The last thing is paranoia or suspicion. Excessive paranoia or suspicion towards others' motives can be a sign of underlying trust issues, which is again evident here. Constantly questioning others' intention or assuming the worst about their behavior can create toxic environment, and this family's environment is really toxic as we can see. Now let's understand what are the consequences of trust problems. First of all, is the strained relationships. Trust issues often lead to strained or damaged relationships when individuals don't feel secure or respected in their relationships. It can create distance and resentment between them. The next one is emotional distress. Living in an environment of distress can take a toll on one's mental and emotional well-being, and constantly worrying about whether others are being honest or faithful can lead to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Next one is communication breakdown. Trust issues often come from communication between individuals, which I also mentioned before. But it's also a consequence. Whether there's a lack of trust, people may be reluctant or express themselves honestly or may withhold important information. So then is isolation. So as I said, when I was reading other comments that Jane left, we saw that he's trying to avoid his family members and even try to isolate himself from them. So this is really, it's one of the issues and consequences of trust problems because withdrawing from social interactions or isolating themselves from others because James may fear to getting hurt or betrayed again. And lastly, it's the impact on decision making. In the environment where trust is lacking, individuals may struggle to make decisions confidently, which we can see in this case because James can't even decide for himself. He's asking the Reddit community. It's really hard for him to make a decision, and he's sharing his experience. Now, Ani will continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lilijan and Vahe, for introducing the case, the enablers, the diagnosis, the core problems, and the consequences. Now, the next step is to introduce our suggestions and solutions, right? So we have some conditions that must exist for trust to be of broader boundaries. First of all, we're going to need ability, similar values, reliability, and eventually common benefits and intentions. And also in the next slide, we can see 3 spheres that anyone can intervene to improve all of the above factors. The factors are emotional factors, functional factors, and cognitive factors, as you can see in our suggestions. Let's go through each one by one with examples and see what can we do to nurture more trust within families. First of all, in the emotional sphere, it is suggested to appreciate and be grateful for positive behaviors, which means to acknowledge if someone is supporting you or understands you. For example, if your spouse listens to you vent about your family without judgment, express your gratitude for their support and understanding and what they do without judgment. Secondly, we can encourage open and honest communication with open dialogues, but also not forgetting to set boundaries to avoid toxic behavioral patterns. For example, if a family member brings up, for example, financial requests or complaints about others, the protagonist or the person in charge in the conversation can bring the conversation to a more positive or a neutral topic. And finally, of course, offer emotional support and empathy in times of distress for the other one. This doesn't limit itself to financial assistance, of course, but more importantly, we talk about the emotional support here. For example, if your sibling expresses feelings of despair or frustration, first of all, validate their emotions, offer words of comfort without feeling obligated to offer them some financial assistance and give them money or solve their problems. Next, we talk about the financial sphere and our suggestions. First of all, parents must refrain themselves from emotionally manipulating their children for financial and emotional support. So, The boundaries set in the previous sections that I mentioned, Lilith mentioned, and what I talked about must be respected and followed by everyone in the family. Siblings must foster trust among each other instead of threatening or deceiving their siblings and engaging in conflict resolution. We might want to say a sensitive topic here, but threatening with self-harm is one of the main things siblings do more frequently, and we suggest to refrain from such behavior. And also, spouses must motivate the other to prioritize self-care instead of caring for the other one. And also set limits, which can be done by constructive communication. And finally, for the cognitive sphere. First of all, meaning the entire family members, should provide justification for expectations and emphasize how working together in the family can benefit on the long run for everyone. For example, the protagonist, or again, the person in charge, can discuss the importance of cooperation in sharing expenses to achieve financial stability for everyone. Secondly, establish clear communication guidelines, such as active listening, empathy, and constructive feedback during discussions. This means emphasizing the importance of fact acceptance and rational discourse to resolve conflicts. And eventually, and most importantly, foster a culture of openness and transparency within the family, and create a safe environment for all of the members, and that always everyone is welcome to share without any judgment. And for the family, in our case, they need to create an environment where other members feel comfortable expressing their thoughts, concerns, and needs without fearing judgment or talking out. And eventually, also in extreme cases, we suggest trying counseling services for the entire family, because a potential resource for family members facing challenges aligns with addressing the institutional core barriers of trust within the family. And with the help of, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. And with the help of these suggestions, we believe that households can become more warm and welcoming and be more helpful in any life situation that are hard enough themselves, and nurture trust among family members. And as the final presentation, I believe that we wish everyone good luck with their final exams. Please contact us if you would like, and be enthusiastic about discussing this matter. And we wish you a trusting family environments and social environments. And please be kind to each other. Thank you so much.